A warm welcome to one and all. Today let's discuss about objective of waste processing, physical processing techniques and equipment. Myself Dr. V. Garvin Sharmila, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. First, let's see about waste processing. Waste processing is nothing proper processing of waste to achieve better solid waste management. So, in order to achieve best in the part of managing the waste is we need proper selection technique, equipment technique and pre-processing methods. So, this is the basic method to be adopted while processing the waste. So, the objective of the waste management is to reduce the waste and eliminate the toxic substances that were exist in the waste, which is inducing the human health effect as well as the environmental issues. So, next is the recycling and the reuse of the materials which are exist in the waste management, that is mainly the plastic and the glass material. And also the major function of this waste pre-processing technique is to minimize the waste that is exist for the disposal at the last stage of landfilling process, and also proper effective management of waste without any induction of any extra toxic substances into the environment. So, while processing the waste, the expulsion of the unwanted material to the environment may affect the society. So, in order to avoid those issues, the proper management of the waste has to be adopted with minimum induction of pollution to the environment, and also to stabilize the waste while we are preferring for the landfilling process by reducing the volume and the size of the waste product. Next, physical processing techniques and equipments. So, during the processing of the waste, we are focusing on the proper functioning of the solid waste management process. So, in order to have a proper functioning of the solid waste management, we need to choose perfect processing techniques and also the equipment for pre-processing the each element of the waste which was generated. So, the major purpose is to improve the efficiency of the waste management, example shredding, sorting, as well as the hammering, milling, etc. So, and then recovering of the material that can be reutilized, and also the recovered material which was pre-processed to energy as well as to the form of chemical products, etc., so that these wastes can be managed in a well manner. So the various techniques and equipment that was used for pre-processing of the waste are the mechanical volume and size reduction, component separation, air separation, magnetic separation, screening and drying and dewatering. So first is mechanical volume and size reduction. So, while considering the mechanical volume and size reduction, the main focus is to reduce its volume as well as the size, so that the component has been changed from its original form. So, on the product which was formed after the reduction of its volume and the size will be in under the uniform state of condition. So, the major volume reduction was done by means of compaction technique. So, the compaction technique is focusing on the reducing the volume and has some of the benefits such as the reduction in the quantity. So, the collection efficiency of the process can be improved. The landfill life has been increased, and also the waste management can be economically monitored and economically feasible in the real time basis. So, even though it has a lot of advantages, there are some disadvantages such as if the proper recovery of waste has not been done prior to the volume reduction, there will be the improper compaction may occur, and also the recycled material may interfere in the further course of sludge management practices, and also the biodegradable matter must be destroyed prior to the proper managing the waste, since the valuable paper or the plastic material which was existed in the within the organic wastes may interfere the digestion process, may affect the further treatment of the solid waste. So mostly the equipment used for the compaction are the stationary and as well as the movable equipments. While considering the stationary equipment, the waste has been kept collected and it was stored in the bin at the point of the stationary collection bin. So usually the steel container or the compressed blocks has been used for the collection of the process waste, and also the collected waste has been transferred by means of the hauling apparatus and the transport vehicle to the site of disposal and the transfer station. And the movable equipment such as the bin which was kept for the collection of waste is provided with a wheeled and a track set of apparatus so that the waste can be easily movable to the sanitary disposal site. So during this compaction process, two sets of pressure has been implemented, low pressure and high pressure. The low pressure is highly utilized for the stationary type of compacting equipments. In this, the pressure has been provided less than 7 kg per centimeter cube. Usually the waste which was compacted here is of light in weight material. And also the high pressure compaction has been provided for the highly organic substances with more moisture content. It is the pressure provided here is above 7 kg per centimeter square. So overall the process of the compaction efficiency can be determined by means of the compaction ratio, that is V1 by V2. V1 indicates the volume of the waste before compaction. V2 indicates the volume of the waste after compaction. Next set of processing techniques is the size reduction. The size reduction is nothing, is the reduction of larger size particle into the smaller particle, so that by reducing the size of the particle size was uniformly maintained, and so that the original form has been transformed literally into the smaller sizes, so that the proper design and operation must be maintained for this such type of size reduction pre-processing techniques. So due to this overall size reduction process, the landfilling may get the homogeneous type of product that can be easily disposed of, and also the waste stream can be properly recovered, so the waste can be handled very easily, and it will be considered to be a better fuel for the incineration process, and also the most of the moisture content also be reduced during the process of size reduction. So the equipments used for the size reduction are the hammer mill, hydropropeller, as well as hydropropeller and the hammer mill is the most commonly used technique of size reduction process. While considering the hammer mill, this is highly utilized for the commercial operation purpose. This type of device consists of the number of hammers which was attached with the inner disc was continuously rotated in a higher speeds. When the solid particles are forced to fall within this place of hammer mill, the solid waste gets shredded into the proper size and between the plates, and it was continued to form a smaller particle. So thus this process of hammer mill techniques can be implemented for size reduction techniques. Then next is the hydropropeller. In this hydropropeller is also another technique of size reduction. In this, that the solid waste must be shredded and the recycled water that was exist in the solid waste has been removed periodically. Usually the slurry form of waste is already highly found in this, that is the high speed cutting blades are available. So these blades mounted on the bottom of the unit in the rotor, which convert the material into slurry with a solid content of 2.5 to 3.5 percentage. So the metal, tins, cans and the materials are usually rejected from the hydropropeller tank, since the liquid has been flushed out continuously to reject those materials which are floating on the water side. So the rejected material may enter into the bucket elevator and then it was pumped to the processing operation. These are all the technique which is followed during the hydropower process. Then next method of separation is the component separation. In this component separation, the waste are identified and are segregated and are stored by means of mechanical process or by means of manual process for further processing of those waste. So during this process of separation, the component separation, the valuable materials are recovered for recycling purpose, and also the material can also be carried selected and it was utilized for the energy recovery operation and the composting as for the incineration purpose. So the effective method of separation is the manual sorting. It is usually done for the household collection system. The another type of component separation is the air separation process. This is usually utilized in the industrial operations. In this air separation process, the lighter materials are highly separated from the heavier one. Here the material which are used for which are highly separated are the paper, plastic, paper products and organic material, etc. So, in order to separate the light fraction organic material, proper air stream has to be pumped into the cyclone separator, and the heavy fraction is removed from the air clarifier, and finally disposed in the landfill disposal site. So, in this air separation, two types of method: conventional chute type method and conventional chute type method, as well as the open inlet vibrator types is available. The conventional chute type method is highly utilized. In the conventional chute type method, the solid waste are dropped vertically within the chute chamber so that the air flow from the bottom to the top. So while heavy flow of the air causes the separation of the lighter weight material, and the heavier material fall down at the bottom of the chute. So the weight material, there will be a controlled operation of this handling of the light and the heavier material during the process of conventional chute type method. Next is magnetic pulling. The magnetic pulling is the process which is implemented during the magnetic separation of these waste. During the magnetic separation or magnetic pulling of the waste, the ferrous scraps are usually recovered. In this, the drum type container has been utilized for separating the waste magnetic substances. Here there will be a permanent magnet or electromagnet was provided in the conveyor belt which transfer the waste stream through the belt. During this transfer, the magnetic substances has been attracted and it was withstand within the chamber itself, remaining the solid waste which is free of metallic components has been fallen out of the stream of waste and can be separated, which is utilized for the process of disposal. So next is technique is screening method. The screening method is the commonly used method of separation process. The screening is usually done based on the size of the material used. The screening has number of applications. Usually these screening process are highly utilized for the recovery of useful product and the recovery of product for energy purposes. So the screening is done usually before the process of shredding and the air separation method. So in the screening process, heavy and the lighter material are properly screened and removed off. Next, drying and dewatering. The drying and dewatering is nothing. The waste which was these are all waste which was separated in a dry form, as well as the water can be wet material can be dewatered and can be reutilized for the purpose. So the moisture content is first initially removed, should be removed for efficient waste management. So the dewatering is the major process to be done for the waste which are taken for the incineration purpose, which may, due to the dewatering stage, the incineration of waste is efficiency of incineration of waste is improved, so that the waste can be transported to the final disposal site. The conventional drying, conduction drying, radiation drying are highly implemented. The conventional drying, hot air is directly pumped to the wet stream so that the moisture content present get vaporized and it was disposed of. In case of condensation drying, the wet stream is the solid waste has been kept on the heated surface area, so it get moisture get removed by evaporation. The radiation drying is done by means of applying the heated body radiation through the wet solid waste wet solid, so that the vaporization of the moisture content present in the solid will occur. Thank you.